Let's have a clap and welcome Mr. Warren.
Hi. Hi, Ignatius.
Hi, Mr. Warren. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
I'm
good.
good.
How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm fine too. So, today our topic would be physiological and psychological safety, and the reason why we kickstart this safety is because we want to know what safety can actually affect the positive mindset, because
Okay.
ultimately positive mindset would be something that relates to motivation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, for all the audience, if you know the Maslow theory of needs,
Yes.
safety is actually one of the basic needs that need to be fulfilled in order to achieve motivation. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
as this Maslow theory of needs, it actually focuses on the behavioral motivation of each individual. So, when you're talking about today, we're going to talk about physiological and psychological needs based on Maslow theory of needs. So, when talking about physiological, there are various aspects that Maslow has mentioned. For example, health, shelter, sleep. So even food, water, all this comes under physiological needs. So as a person today, it's your responsibility to take care of your physiological needs. For example, one of it is sleep. Many of us today are having difficulty or shortage or lack of sleep uh, due to many reasons. So some say that they have to work from home, so their sleep is affected. You see, and they have to work late night. But the truth is, when we look at many out there, it's very rare that I've seen where organizations ask them to work until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. from home. Even in a worst case scenario, if let's say your meeting finishes at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., you can always go back to sleep. But the issue is people tend to hang on to their gadgets, so they tend to spend a lot of time in phone, while in their bed, and they go to bed like, I mean, they sleep around 2 or 3 a.m. So totally affects the cycle. So what they say is we need about 6 to 8 hours sleep. But there's another factor, like for example, the sleep time. It's also important. It differs from each person. For example, for me, I may have to sleep at 11, even though I sleep at, let's say I sleep at 1 a.m. and I sleep for 10 hours, but the next day I could feel groggy and unproductive because my sleep time is different. Is 11, for example. For you, maybe 10. So these are the factors that we have to look into. So if these patterns are disturbed, your stress level increases automatically. This is one. Another factor is exercise. Today, many of us tend to put away this exercise factor. But the truth is, we need a minimum about, we call it 3 times 30. 3 times 30 minutes in 1 week. This is the minimum time of exercise time that we need. So, but today, how many of us are really exercising? So these are the factors that I'm we have to give importance into the aspect of physiological safety.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Warren. As for the basic needs, I believe that most of us we know that sleep time really will leads to something stress, and also will affect the way of we thought of something, right? So, however, I think that what is the example of safety thing, physiological safety thing that we ourselves could do in order to cultivate positive mindset? Because as for me, I think as for the employer actually did their best in uh, providing the best safety, best
Okay.
basic needs to all the employees. So, what would be your insight of how an individual can actually uh, just like cultivate a positive mindset, yeah, among themselves?
Okay, when we talk about physiological safety, the food we take is very crucial. This determines our health as well. So when we are healthy, so earlier we were talking about exercise. A good exercise actually increases endorphin level. So when endorphin levels are increased, automatically you will feel positive as well. Okay, this is from the contribution of exercise. But the right diet is also crucial. So that's one aspect. Water, the amount of water we consume is also crucial. Some people don't take enough water. This also directly affects the motivational level in you. You know, lack of water, automatically you are already in a state of
Dehydrate.
fatigue. Yes, automatically your motivation level drops. So easily you can get stressed out. So these are the basic things. But for as well for employer aspect, it is very important to give a nice working place for your staff. I have been to many organizations. Some organizations are very well, what to say, they keep it very well outside. But when we go into the working place, it is quite bad. I would say where everything is in a mess. Files are all over, and tables are messy, very not a very feasible environment to work. So this indirectly induces stress because the employee feels uncomfortable in the working environment. Everything is at mess, affects the productivity. So if let's say for example, if your table is well maintained, tidy, the productivity level increases. You can work well, you can focus well. Imagine it is full of mess, so it affects your productivity indirectly. So same goes to employer. It's important to keep the office tidy, you know, and things are arranged in appropriately, not in a mess. Also, safety in workplace is very important. Certain places wires run around. It creates a very hazardous environment for the staffs.
Mm.
These are for employee aspect.
Yeah.
But as a person on physiological, again, the thing I would like to stress here is exercise and sleep. So there are cases where people immune system goes down because lack of sleep, lack of exercise, stress level goes up extremely high due to these factors. So please give importance these two areas.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that, Mr. Warren. Uh, okay, so I can see that there are quite numbers of people actually tuned in for our Zembang Crew. Thanks for watching our Zembang Crew. Thanks for staying with us until now. And if you guys notice, in the previous sample episode, we did mention about our topic is actually around EQ, how mental health, and how can we actually prevent this kind of a mental health issue among ourselves. So, and this is also one of the reasons why we are invite Mr. Warren to give uh, actually insight on positive mindset to actually like make topic stick together. So, Mr. Warren, I would like to ask. Just now you mentioned that nice working place and also comfortable will affect the thinking of an employee, right? Because they will feel not comfortable. So my
Yes.
question is, does that relate with organization culture? Does organization culture affect your positive thinking or positivity? And if yes, culture of an organization is fall under physiological safety or psychological safety.
Um, I would say both, but more towards psychological. Okay. How the people are reacting in an organization. You know what do they do in general? How much time they spend in gossiping. You know, if there's a department, everybody is gossiping and having negative thoughts. There's a high chance for a person who is not involved in that, or a neutral person, to be get affected. You know, generally, if you gossip, productivity drops because you're not focusing. Moreover, it also increases negativity in you. indirectly increasing stress levels. So culture is it's combination of both, but I would say psychological is aspect is more. Okay.
Okay, understood. So, talking about the gossiping, right? I actually have just a sharing of myself because I have some working experiences before entering impact evaluation. So, previously I actually worked in a very bad. Is it? I'm not sure whether it be categorized as bad because like I'm actually working like a ghoulie, basically
Okay.
labors. Yeah,
Okay.
labor. Yeah. So at there is like at that moment, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. At the same time, there's people gossiping about me because you know right, office politics there's a lot. But usually
Yes.
in office there's a lot of politics, right? And
Yes.
when this politics involve you, I can feel the stress.
Yes. You are right.
Give you faces or black faces every day. Uh, that really make me feel very stressed. Yeah, this is one of
Yes.
the thing that I feel that I'm not safe. So I would like to ask Mr. Moon, I think that office politics happens in everywhere,
Everywhere. Yes.
everywhere. So what would be the best what would be the best action that I can do to like actually as other than avoiding them, other than what are the things that I can do to calm down my mind and make myself stay positive and try my best not to get involved in this kind of things.
Okay. See, this kind of what to say attitude where it happens to someone who has entered the organization, a new person, or a person who has gone into a new department. It happens where the rest are trying to be away from you, or they are talking something bad about you, or they are not really mingling well with you, or the moment you enter, all of them give you a funny kind of look. From that, you can feel that something is wrong. You see, so um, it happens almost everywhere. It is sometimes some culture is different. It's very accepting culture. They are very kind and loving. So this is going to the belonging needs of the psychological needs of Maslow theory. So how much belong you feel depends on how much warmth that they are giving. But if it is the other way around, what we can do? What one thing that can be done is to mingle with them, try to talk to them, uh, to be nice with them, but sometimes doesn't work. Oh, this guy is trying to be nice with us. I don't think so. He's a nice guy. you know he's just pretending. That will be sometimes their perception. Very hard to change. So what we can do is we have to make our state of mind well. That is the most important. How well are you inside? It then it provides a immunity. If you're weak inside, or EQ, from the aspect of EQ you're weak, this kind of situation can easily affect your stress levels, affect your confidence. Everything will be torn apart. So it all depends on your inner strength. How strong are you? So what can be done is having, we say, the positive mindset. But how to build a positive mindset? Sometimes we run programs for 2 days, 3 days. Of course, there are a lot of things we teach. But one thing, if you ask me, is all going back to the thoughts. Okay, it
Talk.
all comes from there. What are the seeds that you put in burning? That's going to come out, that's going to germinate. So, if each of your thoughts, we say they are like 60,000 thoughts per day. On average, human being goes through about 60,000 thoughts. So how
Thousand
many
talk.
thoughts? 60,000, yeah. Average is the average count. So in that, how many are positive? How many are negative? Or how many are neutral? We also have neutral thoughts, which has no positive or negative effects. So if someone has more negative thoughts, the person already in a negative state. So this kind of situation affects the person more. If you are more of a positive person, your thoughts are very positive, very pure, it doesn't affect much. Okay. So again, what I'm saying is check your thoughts. It's very important. It's thoughts about yourself. and also about others. What you are thinking about others, you know,
Mm.
also determines the overall positivity in you. If you have very best thoughts about others, or jealousy, or all these kind of unwanted thoughts or negative thoughts, it will first destroy us. Okay.
Just curious, Mr. Warren, because as a salesperson, right, one of the thing I noticed in myself is within myself is kiasu. Do you know what is kiasu?
Yeah, yeah.
Kiasu is something for information. Kiasu is the attitude that you want to win, just want to win. Is that considered a positive thoughts or negative thoughts? Just
Okay.
curious.
Okay, so we call it, there is something called mental model operation. How your mind is being operated. Is it on fear base? We call it the lowest is fear base, you know, or is it by reward base? Second, okay. Third, is it passion base? Okay, and ultimately we call it superconscious. So if it is fear base, you're operating on fear base. I have to get these sales. If not, I'll be reprimanded, or I'll be punished, or I won't get this. There are a lot of fear in you. So you're pushing yourself based on fear. Okay. So the stress levels are very or extremely high. If you're moving based on fear to achieve something. Okay. That's your goal, but you are pushing yourself using fear. All right. If I don't do this, my job is gone. If I don't do this, I cannot get this money.
I
Then I
believe that
cannot pay
now.
my, yes, that's very, very highly negative.
I
So
believe now
check.
CMCO we have a lot of fear, fear drive.
Fear driven, yes, you're right. So the next is reward based. So reward based, the stress levels are lesser, but still there. Okay,
Mm.
still there. So you are doing this because I can get something, then I can be happy. That's reward based, but stress levels are still there. Another level is, we call it passion based, passion driven. I am doing because I love this, I enjoy this. Okay, so the level of stress is very low, and the highest we call superconscious. Superconscious means I am doing for the goodness of people, or the purpose of why I am born. You know,
Oh,
okay, very, very, very high level. So we sometimes I always quote as Nick Aziz, the former Menteri Besar, late Nick Aziz, former Menteri Besar of Kelantan. So we call him a person who driven by superconscious. He's doing everything for the sake of his duty. I'm born here. There's a purpose for me. I must do this. I must help people. Almost it's zero stress. So it all depends where are you now. Okay, where's the person is operating based on? Is it fear? Is it reward, passion, or superconscious? All right.
okay. So as a conclusion, the positive is it starting from reward or passion? The positive thought of kiasu attitude.
Um, Kiasu.
If
Okay, Kiasu is
kiasu because I want to if I want to if I kiasu because of the reward, so is it considered a positive thought or negative thoughts?
okay. That's why I said Kiasu. Is it affecting you and anyone else? If your Kiasuness is affecting the others
Because of
and
for
you,
kiasu, because of for the kiasu, right? The kia is actually I scared to move.
ah, see, the fear is already there, right? Okay, so if it is scared, so it is already very negative drive way of moving. So it affects you in long term. Your immune system is gone over time. That's why you're exposed to more diseases. Immune system is low, your the exposure to diseases are very high, and stress levels goes up. You'll lead to burnout. So no point having everything in life, but you are losing the other part.
Yeah.
So how you're operating is very crucial. All right. So if you're on fears, try to move to the following. For example, reward. If you're on reward, try to move to the following: passion, and so on. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so for you guys who just tune in our Semang crew, just now Mr. Warren actually categorized the number of thoughts, categorized thoughts, how to differentiate their level. So there's the most basic level is fear driven. After this is reward, passion, and also super conscious. So this actually will help us to identify our thoughts, is whether it's a positive or negative. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so Mr. Warren, we have one question from the audience. So
Okay.
is what would you suggest if there's one person in a company that spread negativity around and hard to be approached? It affects the team dynamic. So how can we, as a friend, as a colleague, to influence their thoughts, meanwhile not being so obvious?
Okay. I mean, if it is a friend and you are close to, um, and the person is willing to listen, so it also depends on the capability of you. How are you good in negotiating? How good are you in influencing? All that matters. So your approach yourself is also important here. If you are very also a stressed out person or very direct approach, you go and say, hey, your style not good lah, you are totally negative. See, the way you put it is not right. So it depends on the approach, how you're going to handle this person. Okay, so probably bring him out for a drink or makan, have a slow talk about yourself. How if you were like him before, you can relate your stories. Actually, those stories are very powerful. You can relate your stories or someone else's story and explain what is the effect if you are doing this, if the person is in a close contact with you. And your approach is very important. If your approach is not right, the person will not listen to you. Okay, that's why we have programs such as negotiation skills, influencing skills, which is very very crucial on how you're going to relate, how you're going to talk to people, to influence them, to guide them to a better direction. All right.
Okay, understood. So the advice from Mr. Warren is go with one-to-one feedback. If best is possible, like bring them out to have a lunch or and
Yes.
relate your story so
Yes.
that make them feel open and share with you what is the problem, right? As and also for one of the thing, because like this question is about harsh word. You are using harsh word because like just now we also mentioned that psychological safety did actually affect how we think, how affect the way we thought. Okay, so I think harsh word is something like will hurt our mental indirectly. So if let's say I'm talking with you, I'm criticizing you, and you don't feel good, ultimately you will feel positive also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good point that you have brought up, because this is on various aspects. Could be friends. I mean, bosses, especially leaders. Sometimes they are very harsh. In our programs, we have shown videos, what happens in the workplace, how the bosses are responding to employees. So sometimes they are very direct and very harsh. They scold, So first of all, if you're scolding all the time, you get very angry at your staff, it shows your EQ state is low. Okay? If you're always angry at your staff, you're shouting at your staff, it means your EQ level is so low. It also
Yeah.
means your stress levels are high. Okay? So EQ, we are talking about two areas, inter and intra. Okay? First, manage your emotion. How well are you in managing your emotions? We have all kind of emotions. So if you really cannot control your anger, you are always angry, something wrong, okay, in
Yeah.
you. So that has to be managed well first. Then only you can be calm. I mean, employees will do mistakes, will do all kind of mistakes. So constructive criticism is important. Okay, not throwing lah, we call it, not just call and scold, because it will demotivate them. And in this kind of environment now, everybody in a very high stress state. Okay, many
Mm.
employees currently in Malaysia and around the globe, their stress levels have increased a lot because first they some are working from home. People thought working from home is very good. It's good, but there are also other effects. They have to look at their family, their children is they are there, and they have to work at the same time, and at the same workload has increased. You know,
Yeah.
many people have lost their jobs, so their jobs has gone to the colleagues. So workload is high. Financially, many people are not stable as well. So there are many factors. You know, there are fear out there. Fear level has increased. So if you as a leader, if you're criticizing and scolding your staffs, it's going to demotivate them a lot.
Yeah, understood. Yeah,
Please please be mindful with your words. Before you say out something, think first. All right? Yeah.
agree with that. I agree with that, Mr. Warren. So just now you mentioned a very sensitive word for all learning advisor in our region, which is leaders. As for us, because like leaders is why leaders is a very sensitive word, because we believe that leaders is a one who is going to lead the organization and
Yeah.
take care of the others. So just now we also mentioned that actually this positive mindset should start within ourselves. So
Yes.
as a leader, how what are the things that we could kickstart in order to generate this positive mindset? Yeah, as a leader, because how we manage ourselves, then how we manage the others.
Okay. Coming back to the fundamental again, um, thoughts. Check
Thought.
your thoughts first. As a leader, check your thoughts because whatever your actions are going to affect the rest. Okay. So check your thoughts first. How positive are you in the first place? If your thoughts are all distorted and negative, that is the first thing that you have to correct here. Okay, what's happening to me? Always observe yourself rather than just condemning the rest, your employees. Mirror yourself.
Just
Where
curious.
am I? Yes. Observe whether I'm doing the right thing or not. You know, how is this action towards my staff is right or not? Is this thought is correct or not? Observe. So the more positive, increase the positivity in you. So that is the fundamental. Observe and increase the positive thoughts.
Okay.
All right.
So, Mr. Warren, just now you mentioned that one day average we have 60,000 thoughts, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just like you also mentioned that we have to observe all the 60,000 thoughts, make sure our thoughts are correct, positive.
Average. Yeah. Yes. So that's one.
So how do we actually track our 60,000 thoughts per day? I think it
Okay.
would be time consuming. Yeah.
Okay. No, what I'm saying is, on average, whenever you are doing something, you're thinking, how do you feel? You know, how are you feeling when you're having a the feeling that we have today on something or whatever we are doing is all based on the thinking. When you think something not good, you don't feel good. So how much of your thoughts are not good thoughts? So you have to change it to positive thoughts. So that's one. So people might ask how I'm going to change my thoughts.
I
You
question
know?
as well. How do we change?
So if I'm thinking I want to be no, I want to be good. I'm good at this. Sometimes some people feel, oh, I'm not good in this. When a boss gives them a job, oh, I can't do this. That's already negative, isn't it? So we call it A and T. Okay, and automatic negative thoughts.
Automatic
A
negative.
and T. So some people, when you see Ignatius, the moment you talk something, straight away they'll say, "Oh, that one cannot lah. That one too difficult. Oh, that guy is not good lah." Everything is negative. Any work given to them, they say cannot do, too difficult, because negativity in them has increased over a period. All right, stress is also high. So one of the way, okay, first is if you want to change your thoughts, if you feel that there's something you want to do, you feel negative, a ant comes up, it says you can't do. So one of the ways we say, turn it around, say that I can do, I'm definitely good at this. We turn it around and self-program, self-talk, change the thoughts. If you see someone, if I see Ignatius, I feel I don't like this guy. because something has happened in the past and you're keeping it in your heart. So the moment I see you, I change. I say, oh, I feel good with Ignatius. Ignatius is a very nice person. This is how we self-program ourselves towards positive aspect.
Hmm.
So this is, or we call, sometimes we call it affirmations. This is how we change the thoughts. So sometimes if your mind is weak, it will fight back. Let's say I'm reprogramming because the moment I see you, I feel negative. Oh, this guy I don't like. I hate this guy. The the thoughts, we call it the inner dialogue. It is running in your mind. This is what is very dangerous. The more the inner negative dialogue, the more it'll affect your productivity, your stress levels. So you have to change. But if your mind is weak, it will fight back. No, what you are saying, Ignatius is good. He is a bad guy. What he has done this to you.
This is
This is
called inner dialogue. This is
yes.
inner
It will
dialogue.
fight back. If you want to say something good, it will fight back. If your mind is not strong, we call it the subconscious is not strong. But how to make your subconscious strong? That's why we have mindfulness practice in our classes. We teach mindfulness. So yes, mindfulness. Our programs are not just knowledge based, but are also skill based. All our soft skill programs are skill based, where we give them tools. So they have these techniques where they can practice. By practicing these techniques, stress level goes down. Okay, we increase the good hormones. All right, we increase the good hormones, and with this, the mind becomes more stable. So when you command your mind with positivity, it will listen because it's calm, it's more stable. If your mind is not in a stable position, it will be fighting back. So, in order for you to command positivity, we suggest mindfulness practice.
Let's practice. Okay, understood. So for you guys who just tuned in, just now Mr. Foreign said shared about how to be mindfulness, do more mindfulness practice, and if I'm not mistaken, just now Mr. Warren, is it something like self hypnosis to make yourself like keep converting your thoughts? Is that like
Yes,
self hypnosis?
you can call it self hypnosis as well. When we are injecting your or we call it a CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. We are using your mind to regulate your mind, your positivity. You know,
Understood.
So, of course, yes, as you said, in hypnotherapy, in clinical hypnotherapy, they are using all CBT methods. So, you can do it yourself. You can program yourself with positivity. When you're doing something or before doing something, you can program yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you can say, today is going to be a wonderful day for me. Don't wake up in the morning, what a horrible day it's going to be.
Understood.
All right. So, that's not a good way to start. So, it is like self programming. So, it takes time. But if as I said, if your subconscious is weak, it will fight back because there are too much of negativity already been stored before. For example, when you see your staff, when you see your employees, when you see your colleagues, or when you see yourself a situation, you always feel I cannot manage. You
Totally
know,
agree. Totally
yeah.
agree with that.
So that's why
So
we say we are giving you the mindfulness techniques upfront. There are few techniques for you to practice. Calm your mind, relax your mind, because daily we have stress, daily we have various kind of stressors, we call it. Many things
mhm,
happen, increases the stress levels, so we have to remove the accumulated stress. All right, so this is our techniques. Second, to prevent yourself from getting into more stress is using the positive affirmations, or you can call it self hypnosis as well. Yeah.
okay. So is it like so just now, Mr. Warren, you say that is this the this two thing is the key to start mindfulness, which is calm your mind and then using more positive affirmation.
Yes. So
Okay,
you
understood.
can actually practice that, before doing something, before going somewhere, even you face a situation, you can always tune yourself,
Uh,
self-talk with positive things. All
yeah.
right.
I totally agree with the subconscious thing with subconscious because like we've been engaging with our clients. So some of our clients is have some feedback from us, and also we can see some from the news, which is because this COVID-19 make us work from home, and when we work from home, the way the only channel for us to release the stress is actually to scold people, and that's why there's a lot of I think it's like bully or whatever whatever
Yes,
stuff. Yeah, it's harming your own family, and they
yes,
don't. And after they harm, they feel the stress is being released. And I think this is one of the things that shows your subconscious mental subconscious is very weak. Quite weak.
yes.
Not very weak. It's quite weak.
You are right. You are right, Ignatius. Because stress, besides it's a hormone, is also energy. That energy which is formed has to go out. So it will look for ways to go out. So by scolding, you might feel relieved, but you are harming many others. That's why they go and murder somebody, then they have like a relief
Yeah.
because the accumulated stress needs to go out. So when you have these practices, the mindfulness practices, it actually removes the stress. All right?
Oh, understood.
Totally, yeah.
So for those who just tune in, if you find that someone have might have this kind of a problem, or maybe you have this mindfulness problem, you want to kickstart how can be mindfulness. So the first thing is release your mind, calm your mind, and then using more positive affirmation to make yourself to convert most of your thoughts become positive thoughts, and this will actually eventually help you to uh, generate more positive mindset and motivate yourself to doing something, right?
Yes. Right.
Okay.
So when you attend the sessions, the mindfulness techniques are taught to you in detail. All right, how to do, how to practice, step by step. And in our sessions, participants have felt a drop of 70 to 80% of stress levels after the practice. Okay, so when we do the observation, when we do the what to say analysis, self-reporting, they have indicated about 70 to 80% average immediately within minutes of the practice. All right, then it's much easier for them to program themselves towards positivity. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing, Mr. Warren. And I'm just curious, do you have any experience on how to how can we measure the how what kind of assessment that we usually use to measure the stress level?
Okay,
Just
we have
curious.
questionnaires to indicate your stress level, online questionnaires as well. Currently, we are using to state where you are and the aspect of stress. That's one, and also other self-reporting assessment. So we use a few methods, and also sometimes we also interview the participants. So we use various assessment techniques to rule out the outcome of the intervention.
Okay, understood. Yeah. So for you guys who just tune in, just now we mentioned about how what are the things that we can kickstart mindfulness. So for you guys who missed the part, you can actually go back and rewatch a few minutes ago. Yeah. So we actually did share how can we do this. So let's go back, come back to the conclusion. In conclusion, Mr. Warren, what would be the most simplest is there any indicator to show that some person maybe is in a positive state or negative state other than their words? Because earlier we actually did have a conversation with Mr. Warren and we talked about something called depression and also
Yeah.
anxiety, right? So yeah,
Okay. So we
perhaps
we say that anxiety is something that we fear of the future fear. We have worries about the future. What's going to happen next?
yeah,
What's going to happen to
pre-pandemic.
my financial? What's going to happen to my job? What I'm going to do next? How I'm going to do the job? Anything about thinking about the future, worrying about the future increases anxiety level. thinking about the past, being sad about the past, what has happened in the past, leads someone to depression. Okay, so generally we say that those who are in anxiety state, they are always restless. They cannot be calm. You know, either they are moving their feet, they can't relax, or there are various symptoms on gastro symptoms, stomach problems. So they are always stiff, cannot rest, cannot relax. Okay, whereas those who are in depressive state, they tend to isolate themselves. You know, they're trying to be alone. They don't want to mix with anyone because they're always thinking what has happened, and they will feel very down. But whatever it is, these are all, when you're talking about the root, it's again going back to the thoughts. Okay, the thoughts has led to these issues. So sometimes thoughts has increased the stress levels. That's why we say you have to use mindfulness practice. Exercise is also very powerful to reduce or to remove the accumulated stress. But that is
Just
not enough. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Warren, just now we actually talk about converting thoughts, right? Converting negative thoughts into positive thoughts. And for depression people, they have a lot of negative thoughts, right? So is it possible if like when we're showing cares, we keep on injecting all the positive thoughts on them? Would it be better to help them recover for the depression
Yes.
people?
Definitely. See, the ones people have gone into depressive state and anxiety state, it's very hard for them to come out. You know, they are stuck. For them to think positive is very difficult. So they need a lot of therapies and help. Okay, if it is very bad, they have to go into medication to help them stabilize the mood and all. So it can even lead to various mental health issues if it is not stopped. So sometimes even other ailments, we call it the psychosomatic diseases. Psycho, mind, causes bodily problems. You know, so we call it psychosomatic just by thoughts. You know, just by feeling panic, you have stomach problem. It's because of thoughts, right? So there are many psychosomatic diseases. So definitely, when you motivate someone, you push someone, you help them out, you say, you encourage them, validate them. So instead of criticizing, today our bosses find it very easy to criticize. That's fine. But how many times as a boss you have validated or praised your staff when they have done something good? So generally Asians, they don't want to praise the staff. They say if I praise then
Have to.
he will think he's very smart. Next time he won't listen to me. You
And
know?
also when you praise, which means next time the boss going to promote you. You have a wrong
Yes.
perception.
So that's a perception. Praise actually doesn't cost anything. Okay, it is actually most powerful thing you can do. If you feel that your employee has done something good, praise him, validate him. We call it very important. It will push and motivate the person to do better
What about
thousands
mistakes?
times. Yeah.
What about mistakes? If praise, we have to praise in front of others. Then how about mistakes? Should we, because mistake is something that will make you feel negative, right? Should we like pinpoint them or like,
Yes, you have brought a very good point, Ignatius. So we say praise in front of others, criticize in person. Okay, this is very important. So one of the sessions, leadership session, one of the staff came and told me, I think in the one organized by Impact Evolution, one of the session. So this staff came and told me when we talked about this. She said, "Sir, actually, I always scold and criticize my staffs in front of others." Okay. So, but what are the effect? How they going to feel? Or what they going to feel after that? You know, you're going to leave a lot of scars on them. Okay, emotional scars. They're going to feel very embarrassed in front of the other employees. Productivity will drop. You know, they're going to feel very stressed out. So don't ever do this. Do it in person. You want to criticize in person. Praise in front of everyone. This will increase the positive state, mental state of your employees, all the employees to a next level. Okay,
hmm,
the secret. in leadership. But many leaders, they don't know this. They feel, as a leader, I must shout at my staff in front of everyone. Then
Yeah.
I feel gung ho. You know, no, that's wrong.
There's only one saying in Chinese, which is I kill one chicken in front of all the monkeys to warn all the monkeys.
Ah,
This is also the saying that so that's why Asian people actually tends to punish people in front of everyone
yes,
so that they will
because
make they will
Ignatius, that induces fear. Okay, when you do that, induces fear. So when everybody is in fear, productivity will not be there. Short term, yes, but long term, no. You know,
short term, yes. Long term, no. Okay. So for you guys who just tune in, so we just mentioned about mistakes and also praising. Okay. So for praising, we actually encourage you guys to praise in front of others, so to generate more positive mindset. And for mistakes, it's better to criticize one on one, right? One on one, so that it won't generate more negative mindset. Even though in Chinese saying there's one kill one chicken to warn all the monkeys, right?
yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And also thanks. Okay. So in this the whole topic we actually covers about how to what are the example of physiological and psychological safety, and what are the categories of thoughts which can affect thinking, positive thinking and also negative thinking. And finally, we have how to do mindfulness, how to practice mindfulness, and also how to avoid fear in an organization, which is
Yes.
relating
One
to
more,
feedback.
one more
Yeah.
point, Ignatius, before we come to the end. Respect and care is very important. As a leader, very important to respect your staff equally, no matter what. Let's say they are not a underperforming staff or overperforming performing staff. Respect should be given equally. You know, even if you are not a leader, to your friends, to your family members, no matter what they are doing, the respect must be there. So when I was working, I give equal respect to everyone, even the cleaners, toilet cleaners or any cleaners. I give the same respect I'm giving to the MD. Doesn't change. So some of the cleaners have come and asked me, sir, in this organization there's only you are the one only talking to me or smiling at me, greeting towards me, no one else. They feel strange because no one has respected them. So everybody is equal. Don't ever reduce the level of respect that you are giving, because that is the psychological need. Respect is a psychological need of every human being. So don't ever reduce that, or don't ever try to disrespect someone. All right, and also care. Care is very important towards your employee, towards your colleagues. Today, it's very hard to get care from bosses. you know
Nice.
so so sometimes they say, some bosses, if they receive a message from staff saying that, sir or boss, I'm on MC today. So most bosses, when they see this, they get angry. Oh, this guy has purposely taken MC, so I won't reply, I won't say anything, I keep quiet. So as a good leader, you should say something positive, and something caring towards them. Take care or whatever. So in my working life, I had a staff who used to take MC regularly. Indirectly we know that he is abusing, but no matter what, each time he sends me a message, I'll always say, please take care of yourself. So when he comes back to work, I ask him, how's your health now. So over time, it actually reduced, the MC rate reduced. Because if it is not true, the person may feel guilty. But if it is true, they are being cared, isn't it? So we don't know,
Yeah.
we cannot judge them. So just do your part, give the basic care and respect towards your staff.
Understand, because eventually we are human being and we
Yes,
like to be appreciated by others. So
yes,
we also understand that even now is the COVID-19 period, and also even pilots also go down to sell laksa already. Yeah.
yes. Even pilot. Even
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, there was a commit suicide in Ipoh.
Mm.
The employee went and ambushed the
Just
factory.
he drive a car just to bang,
Yes,
right?
and so this is how people are. These things were not something common, but now it's happening. You know, so what are we doing as bosses? So different people take it differently. Of course, when we say there are also others are affected in that factory, but they did not commit suicide. So it goes back to the well-being of person, or also checks with the management whether they have done the right thing, or given the right care
Mm.
towards the employee.
Exactly.
So it's check and balance where we are mentally here.
As a conclusion, I think respect and also harsh word is just like a tabung. Just like
Yeah.
you just keep on feeling. Just that depends on you, on leaders, how you actually fill up this tabung, and what is the rewards, what is the result for you. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So my conclusion come to this sembang group is that eventually everyone needs to be respected, and respect is definitely one of the psychological safety that among
Yes.
ourselves individually we can provide and help each other, especially in this pandemic era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So for you guys, if you really interested in our training programs, we actually have this kind of training programs, negotiations, and also interpersonal skill. How can we communicate, and most importantly, EQ. How can we kickstart mindfulness, and we also have trainings and also have exercises related to how for us to manage ourselves, to especially on thoughts. Yeah. So feel free to drop us a message if you have any questions. You can drop us a message also. We have a Facebook page. You can messenger us and use any approach that can reach us, and we will try our best to give you the best solution. And I think that's all from our Sempang True session today. And thank you very much, Mr. Warren, for sparing out your time to have this session with all of our audience and our clients. And we are so grateful that to have you today. Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mr. Warren.
thank you, Ignatius, for giving me the slot and time for me to share some thoughts. Hope it is beneficial to all of us out there. All right.
Yeah. So bye bye.
Bye. Take
See
care.
you soon, Mr. Warren.
Stay safe. Yeah.
And
Bye.
we will have opportunity to meet soon.
Okay. Sure. Take care.